Hey everyone, welcome back to the movie studio. So today I'm here with a brand new Which Is Better. I'm going to be talking about Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, but today I have a special guest with me, Becca, Milne, and my sister.
Hi.
Yeah, and we both really like Disney films, so I thought it would be fun every once in a while to talk about two Disney films to compare them. So this one's princess themed, so we decided Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty. Those are two very popular Disney films. October we have Ratatouille and Princess and the Frog, which are both food themed, sort of. And in December we'll have a Christmas one that we're still trying to decide what that would be for. So we'll kind of go ahead and just talk about some background of Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty. So they're both princess films. Cinderella, she has to live with her stepmother and stepsisters who are very annoying, and she has to get home by midnight from the royal ball. And there's Prince Charming. So what do you think of Cinderella as a whole?
The character or the movie?
The movie.
The movie? I like it. It's a classic. I mean, when you go to Disney World in Florida, the Cinderella Castle is like the big symbol there. And so I like it a lot. I mean, it was one of the very first Disney movies I watched as a kid. And I always really liked Cinderella. And I remember having my Cinderella VHS tape with me. But I mean, it's a good story. And I think it's like one of the most popular, like, in culture and stuff, and hearing about, like, a fairy godmother and the dress and the pumpkin and, all of that.
Yeah, it's very much a classic.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much Cinderella, and also there are
Also, there's a lot of funny parts. We like the mice.
The mice have a bigger role than Cinderella. It feels like at some points. But yeah, the animals have a big role. And
It brings a lot of humor.
Mm-hmm. And Cinderella, it's really fun. So we're gonna talk about Sleeping Beauty, and then we're gonna get into the pros and cons of each of them. So Sleeping Beauty is another princess film, and this is about a princess again, and pretty much it's her, and she has Merryweather, Flora,
And Fauna.
and Fauna. So they're her three little, like, people, is the right way to say it.
Like, little fairies.
Fairies, yeah.
I guess.
So pretty much they help her out, and she also again meets a guy, and that's kind of like the theme with, like, a lot of these princess movies. She has some animals, and Maleficent is, like, the enemy here.
Placed a curse on her.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think of Sleeping Beauty?
I mean, again, I like it. It's a classic. It came out in 1959. It's old. If you go to Disneyland in California, it's the Sleeping Beauty Castle. So, again, it's iconic. And I like it, too. I remember being a little scared as a kid. There's some, like, darker parts. But I think, like, now, I like it more than I do Cinderella.
Okay, so we're going to kind of get into the pros and cons now. I think starting with Cinderella, the pros are is that, Cinderella's a classic. It's funny, and the mice have a big role in it. And I like that, the animals have such a big role. If I was gonna say some cons of Cinderella, I would wait. No, do you have any other pros for Cinderella?
It's like Cinderella was kind of the underdog, and then at the end she got the prince, and so it was kind of like a happy rags to riches kind of story.
Yeah.
So that'd be a pro that she, went from being like a slave to, having a happy ending.
Yeah. I can't think of many cons when it comes to Cinderella.
Just like the stepmother.
Yeah.
The stepsisters.
I mean, she's not. They're supposed to be the enemies, but they're not as nearly as bad as Maleficent.
That's true.
So if there was anything, I would probably say do a little bit of If I was gonna change something in Cinderella, would you change anything, or do you think it's perfect on its own?
I mean, I don't think you can change a Disney classic.
Yeah, but Cinderella, it's very good. Sleeping Beauty, pros are, I think that there's more characters and the characters are a little bit more involved in the main person's life. There's Maleficent, but there's not like, well, I also like how it shows the family relationships are better.
Yeah.
And I think that, she has more people around her. And that's a difference, I think, that Cinderella's more of the underdog. And, in Sleeping Beauty, she's a little bit more... She has people surrounding her, like her fairies.
Like more support.
More support, which I think lifts her up and makes her a stronger character, I think. If I was going to say a con, I kind of wish the animals were involved a little bit more. I think that the fairies replaced the animals, sort of, because the animals had a big role in Cinderella.
Yeah.
So, I would have liked to see the animals a little bit more involved. I think that Maleficent, I don't think that... I'm not a huge fan of her character. So, are there any... What are your pros and cons for Sleeping Beauty?
Let's see. Pros, it's, it's just a good story. It is kind of... The music's really good. I like a lot of those classic songs. There is some humor, and it's like, I always love throughout the whole movie, make it pink and make it blue with the fairies and stuff, and so, I like it a lot. I do think that although, like, Maleficent isn't a likable character because she's a villain, like, between the two movies, I think she's the superior villain. Versus, I guess, the villain in the other movie is just like the stepmother and stepsisters. So I think that it's more of a villain type of role. Cons, maybe just the scary parts that I thought were scary as a kid. I don't really have any cons for the movie.
Yeah. Lady Tremaine, is that the stepmother's name, I think?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that, I'm not sure if they're trying to make her villain. I don't think they did a great job of it. If anything, the stepsisters are more villains than...
I can see that.
Than her. I don't know. I felt like if they were trying to make her a villain, maybe they could have done a different approach. But maybe it's also because, like, I feel like because the mice have, like, a lot of screen time, that maybe, they don't get to focus on that as much.
Yeah.
But a similarity I saw between the films, I think that it's a common in Princess World, is that the two is that the girl princess is always running away from the prince. And Cinderella happened when the clock turned midnight. Here, it just happened when they were hanging out,
In the woods, and then she's like, oh my gosh, like, I need to go back home. I can't be with the prince. Of course, I guess she didn't know he was a prince then, but...
Another similarity I noticed is that there's always a scene... Like, there was a scene in both films that had nothing to do... Had not a lot to do with the original plot. And in the Cinderella, there's like a fight between two characters, and then here there's like a drinking party between two of them, and then
it's always the old guys in both movies.
Yeah, so like that's kind of like, I think that they do it maybe to add a little bit of humor in it, but like I don't know. But
it doesn't
like,
have a whole lot to do with the plot.
Yeah, I just like it's kind of like there. So I know that was added in both of the movies. So now we're kind of gonna get to which is better. So, I know you already mentioned that you like Sleeping Beauty better, but why do you like it a little better?
I just think it's actually more interesting. Like, I think there's more layers to the plot, and, I don't know. I thought that at the beginning, I thought it was going to be Cinderella's my favorite, but I think it is Sleeping Beauty. What about you?
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, I think that Cinderella might be a little more well-known than Sleeping Beauty. I think that they think of those two, but they always think of Cinderella first. I really think that Cinderella, I think it has a basic plot. She is trying to get to the royal ball all the time. There's fairy godmother. There's the mice. I think that it's a basic plot. Well, here I think there's a little bit more. In Sleeping Beauty, I think there's a little bit more story to it than just like one layer. A second layer would be her being the villain Maleficent. While in the first film, it's kind of all one layer. And it's like two storylines: the mice and Cinderella. Here, it's like, the fairies, Cinderella, and,
Sleeping Beauty.
Fairies, Sleeping Beauty, and, the fairies. So, yeah, I think that there is more...
parents and Maleficent.
Is more story layers, I think. Yeah, so
Well,
I get what you're
which one's your
saying.
favorite?
I do really like Sleeping Beauty. I would say that I do like that a little bit better, but Cinderella's good too. So I think that they both definitely have their pros and cons. So
Do you
yeah.
think that one of these is your all-time favorite Disney princess, or do we have more movies to watch?
We do have more movies to watch. We have Tangled. We have I'm sure I can name a lot more.
I mean, we have Aladdin,
Mhm.
Sweet Jasmine. We have Snow
Yeah.
White. We have Little Mermaid,
Tons.
Beauty and the Beast, the live action, the cartoon.
Yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about. But luckily, we'll be doing every other month. We'll be doing a new one, so hopefully we'll be able to do that trend for a while. Again, we have in October we have a Ratatouille versus The Princess and the Frog, both very good Disney films. So that will be out on in
There's
October.
a little bit of a food theme in both.
And then we're gonna do Christmas in December, and that will be a lot of fun. So yeah, comment down below what you thought of this podcast. Which do you think is better, Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella? Thanks everyone for watching the studio, and bye.